This mutation is called Rise from the Ashes, and it is played on Scythe of Amon. We have 3 mutators active. We have Void Reanimators, Self-Destruction, and Lava Burst. You can see we are already prepping a little bit here, and you will see why in just a second. But one of the units has been pulled. It is a Zergling. Zergling is in for a very rude awakening. Bunch of SCVs being pulled, and that Zergling is still being a little bit annoying, but eventually that Zergling ends up dying, and very nice dodge here. You might be wondering why that is happening, and it will be very apparent very soon. So let's quickly go through the masteries. 30 points to the Strike Fire Improvement Mastery, 30 points into the Significant Other Mastery, and then 30 points into the Magmine Mastery. Just remember that the Stronger Death Chance Mastery is currently bugged, and will continue to be bugged, so do not go for this mastery, it just does not work. Hound Horner is playing the Wing Commander's Prestige, B2, and so now we should probably talk about the mutators that are active. Void Reanimators will spawn as soon as an enemy unit is killed on the map, and I think the earliest spawn time is about the 2-minute mark, and this is exactly what has happened. There is now a dead Zergling that exists somewhere in the mineral line, and this Void Reanimator has been spawned to try and resurrect that one Zergling. So this is why that Zergling was pulled into this area. Now, if you would like to see how this is done, there is a video on Starcraft2coop.com about path blocking. It shows you how to do it even with propagators if you are daring and lucky enough to pull it off. It was not really... It doesn't have a very high success chance with propagators, but with Void Reanimators, because they do not have a weapon and they cannot attack, Void Reanimators now can get stuck trying to resurrect that one Zergling with this hero SCV that is parked over here. So there are a few commanders, like obviously you can do this with pretty much any commander to path block them. Abathur is one of the commanders that is generally used when it comes to making these kinds of things, because with Abathur you can yoink the Void Reanimators with a Viper, and in fact that is one of the replay submissions that I got in for this mutation, was someone actually like using a Viper to pull the Void Reanimators into like a little bit of a structure that they're going to basically be building over here. But in this case, it's not really necessary. We have one SCV blocking, the other Void Reanimator is already come near the top, attack wave is already there, and there is a supply depot here to start to just slow down this attack wave. So far, we have 3 Void Reanimators that have been path blocked here. There's still one more to spawn. Remember, only a total of 4 Void Reanimators can spawn. So, still a while. I'm also not saying anything because there's really nothing else to say. It's just like Void Reanimators just parked over here right now. I think they're just waiting for one more Void Reanimator to end up making its way across. And I'm trying, you know what, we might be able to get some vision. Okay, there we go, there's the Void Reanimator there. And by the way, if you do want to know how to get vision like I did here, you can actually use the observer interface and hold the V key down, and that is what you can use. And then, like, it does get a little bit messy, especially with the custom observer interface that I've made, but there we go. So those are all the Void Reanimators now that have spawned, and you can see here the layout of the structures has been really good. So he's built the armory because he needs it. All the structures here have a reason. He has a supply depots. He's not built extra engineering base for no apparent reason. Unfortunately, this SCV does end up getting trapped here. It will be able to path out. I think one thing you can do is if you want to path out of, like you saw here, he just basically phased through this SCV. There is a way to do it by using the space station reallocation over here, obviously, but I want to just mention like how you actually managed to phase through. I think if you right click on the mineral patch with the SCV that was inside, it will phase through this SCV, so it does not get like covered by the path blocking rules that are there. Now I think this SCV does end up getting stuck here. I'm not really sure this SCV can be moved out of the way, but as far as our Hound Horner player is concerned, this is basically it. These Void Reanimators now are not going to be resurrecting anything, and we have some Galleons already in position that have rallied just down the side here. If you're wondering how they got over here, they just moved down the side here. They've cleared out everything here now, and this Void Sliver is basically gone. So yeah, This SCV will be the designated zookeeper of the Void Reanimator Zoo, and yeah, this is actually a strategy that you can use for the pretty much any mutation. By the way, it's not only for this one. As long as you have like Void Reanimators on the map, as long as you're able to kill them or kill an enemy unit very early in the game, you can spawn these void. You can force these Void Reanimators to spawn, and with these Void Reanimators spawned, you can just have a little bit of an easier time. Now, do remember that Han and Horner are limited to 2 Assault Galleons only, and unfortunately, this thing is going to cause the mini-map to disappear, so I'll just bring that back. And yeah, the next push is being done. So call on the fleet being used here, lots of mag mines being used just to take out all the enemy forces in the front line here. Unfortunately, these lava bursts deal a lot of damage, deal an insane amount of damage. I think one assault galleon did end up going down. Yeah, it did end up going down. And these things do favor trying to target where your army units are, so it's really very difficult to avoid. And just being a little bit annoying as well, and Void Sliver stunning as well here. 500 IQ Warp Prism going into the enemy base and will be shot out of the sky. And again, self-destruction, very nasty mutator as well, especially because your army units tend to clump up. If you're playing with a lot of air units, be very careful when you're playing up against the self-destruction mutator, because the self-destruction mutator, your air units clump up. So self-destruction and these lava bursts as well, for that matter. You can lose your entire air army if they end up getting clumped up and something spawns underneath them. So a little bit careful with that. The next attack wave is on the way, and I think Horner wants to try and clear out this Void Silver before he regenerates his shield, because it's a little bit of time here. So, mag mines have also been dropped over here, and again, as just a quick reminder, to get vision, these strike fires have been used to get vision, and these mag mines have been dropped here. Now, if you're wondering why that is the case, is because there are attack waves that spawn, and the attack waves here on the northern side, they are dropped through warp prisms. So as long as you're able to clear these warp prisms before the attack wave unloads, then you don't really have any issues with attack waves from that side, which makes life a little bit easier as well. So again, this is just proactive play, just making sure you're spawn camping attack waves, making sure that nothing else gets in the way. And unfortunately, that Assault Galleon does have to get cancelled. A few hybrids here being a little bit annoying. Lifty moves being casted on these Reapers, but these hybrids are going to end up going down. There's also a Hellbat here as well, just to tank a little bit of the damage. So, two of the 5 Void Slivers are down, and in terms of attack upgrades, yeah. Void Reanimators now are exploring the zoo that they have been given. They have accepted their fate. They know that there's nowhere to go, so they're just having a look around, seeing what do they have in their newly found home. Zookeeper just parked over there, and yeah. So basically 7 minutes left on the timer. This game is going to be very straightforward. As soon as you take out these Void Reanimators, you really do not have to worry very much about the difficulty of the mutation. And interestingly enough, all these submissions I got for this week, if anyone's wondering, oh, why did you not cast a game where the Void Reanimators were active? It is because I actually did not receive a single game where people were not like, you know what, I don't want to deal with Void Reanimators at all, I'm just going to trap them. I got like a few submissions, and every single one of them had some way of like making a zoo with the Void Reanimators. Mostly with Abathur, but I had one with Horner, so I figured I might as well just cast this one instead. So
upgrade complete.
It just comes to show you how annoying these units can be. Now, when it comes to Void Reanimators, one thing to note is I believe they do not have any tags. Yeah, they are untagged, so you cannot deal bonus damage to them. So the only way to like it's just raw damage that it takes to deal with these Void Reanimators. And one thing I would highly suggest is that you do put some kind of detection or vision granting units in, like, if you spread them across the map, because once the trickle spawn comes up, you are going to be having a lot of problems. You can see here these mag mines detonating, killing off all the warp prisms, and I believe if all the warp prisms die, then I do not think that you will actually have an issue with the hybrids. I don't think the hybrids spawn. Just remember, when these warp prisms unload, they only unload regular Amon units, they do not unload hybrids. And later on, when the attack wave comes up around this point, the hybrids spawn. So, because the attack wave has not spawned, and the units have not been dropped, I don't think the hybrids end up spawning, which is something else also you can use to just basically abuse the AI. And same idea here as well, Strike Fire getting utilized here. I think 2 Strike Fires were used, and mag mines being put into this position to stop these prisms from coming up as well. So Strike Fire is just being dropped here just to take out some of these structures, and then eventually the cooldowns will be getting utilized to take out the rest of this Void Sliver. Again, this thing is also pretty much a goner. Over here, the Galleons are somewhere. Are indeed somewhere. They're parked somewhere in the center here, just staring at this little Void Shade hybrid that is about to spawn. But yeah, 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the timer. Over here, the Wraiths are getting also into position, and at some point they will also have their tactical jump, so that'll be also kind of nice. So we have the call in the fleet getting utilized here as well. And oh, there we go. That one's getting utilized right now. And that will actually take out a good chunk of the high HP units. This thing does actually a good amount of damage. Void Sliver going down as well. And the goal here is to just take out these things. These Death Grip Crystals are really, really important. So some more Magmines getting utilized here. Magmines taking a little bit of damage from the self-destruction. But I think really good dodges right now. So that should be able to these Wraiths should be able to clear this out as well. And at some point, again, they will get their tactical jump, so it should not be too bad. One Oracle getting triggered over here, triggering off all these little Magmines, which means these Wraiths do not have the kind of defenses that they were expecting to have. But again, it should not be too bad. They just need to try and focus down this Void Sliver. Again, there are Overseers over here, so that is a huge problem. Unfortunately, there is a Wraith that does get trapped by the Death Grip Crystal, and this is unfortunately a very annoying bug. That Death Grip Crystal was over here and like outside the vision range, and unfortunately those Wraiths do end up going down. And this is actually one of the reasons why I'm not really much of a fan of Hanhorner's like air army, especially when it comes to pushing into this side. When you're pushing into when you're pushing solo into Void Slivers, it's just a huge risk because Death Grip Crystals are just a huge problem. Over here, unfortunately, the Magmines were not able to clear out all of the Warp Prisms, so that means the hybrids have spawned, and there were also a little bit of Amon units here, but these Galleons will be able to deal with that. Over here, this Void Sliver has no more HP left, or at least no more shields left, but these Wraiths need to try and focus this thing down. Unfortunately, again, 2 more of these Wraiths getting caught out by the Death Grip Crystal. Lots of inhumanity over here. Strike Fire is now being utilized just to deal a little bit of extra damage, and that is that cleared as well. Now these things are just completely going to get out of here. Hybrids have been cleared out from this expansion as well. Very nice salvages on those missile turrets to make sure that they are not losing any resources that they do not really want to lose. And I think that should be pretty much it. 2 more to go, and I think there will be some more Magmines being dropped here. Unfortunately, Hanhorner is out of they are out of Magmines, so they will need to try and drop a few more down. And I think it'll be a while because this area as well is lacking Magmines. So I think the next few attack waves might be a little bit of a problem because they may be on short cooldown. But
Upgrade complete.
About 5 minutes left on the timer before the Void Shade hybrid awakens, so there's still a little bit of time. Magmines being utilized.
Upgrade complete.
And just notice the usage of the cooldowns here. These Magmines all being used like as soon as they are off cooldown. We do have some Strike Fires again ready, but they will probably be utilized as soon as the push begins. So yeah, I think all in all pretty good. Yeah, so more Magmines being dropped here. And what is Hanhorner building right now? They're going for the level 3 attack upgrades, so that is actually a good idea. 2 more Strike Fires are being reduced as well. Void Reanimators accepted their fate. No, they're not going anywhere. And just Strike Fire platforms just all over the place here. And this is one of the things about this mission, is just like it just requires a little bit of time. So tactical jump being utilized, and these Wraiths now getting into position. There is a Raven over here as well. I think it's just going to try and sneak in just a little bit and sit in observation mode here just to make sure it doesn't end up getting moved. All the rest of these units here. Some Strike Fires being utilized here as well, just dealing a little bit of damage to the Sliver, dealing a little bit of damage to the ground units. And I think Hanhorner here just right now, just to weaken some of these defenses. They're going to be waiting for both their cooldowns to be available because they kind of want to take this out. So just taking out these Void Rifts, dealing a little bit more damage to whatever they can. And yeah, there are a lot of defenses over here. Void Sliver defenses just start going up over the course of time as you clear out these other Void Slivers. So gotta be a little bit careful. Call on the fleet is going to be available in 14 seconds. And I think that will probably be getting utilized because timer is a little bit short right now. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the timer. So we shall see what the utility is here. So call on the fleet being utilized here. And this will actually create a very nice corridor for these units to try and deal a little bit more damage while they are fighting under the cover of this. You have to be careful with Blue Ring of Death. That thing deals an insane amount of damage. And now the Void Rifts here will start to produce detectors. So Han and Horner will need to be a little bit careful. Unfortunately, there was a Raven. Very nice split here from Han and Horner, only getting one of those Wraiths to get hit by that Seeker Missile. And I think this Void Sliver will go down very, very quickly, and they will end up tactically jumping out. Oh, Blue Ring of Death again. That just reduces the damage output here, and there we go. That is the Overseer I was talking about. There's going to be some more detectors. Raven being a little bit annoying, and now those are those Wraiths basically succeeding and triumphing over the Void Sliver. One more left, and this one's gonna be nasty. This one is like Jackwave has spawned, and they all end up getting caught out by the Magmines, which is actually very nice pullback there on those Wraiths to get to lure these things into the Magmines here. So that Raven is unfortunately not unsieged yet. There is a space station reallocation, which is not too bad, but I think Horner may want to wait for the call on the fleet, but it is cutting it a little bit close. So let's see what they decide to do here. Using a few more of these strike fires just to try and take out the static defense. So first, what he's doing here is he's using these strike fires to take out the static defense, then using the strike fire to take out the void rifts, and then ends up using the call down to call on the fleet to make a little corridor for his race so that he can actually focus down the void sliver without having to clear out all the other enemy forces here. So that is generally what it does. And because he's usually outside of range, outside of the vision range of the enemy units, the call on the fleet causes these enemy units to run away from the call on the fleet. So these units, they end up actually moving away from the wraiths, which allows them the wraiths to just deal a little bit of damage. So that is basically how he is dealing damage with these things without taking a lot of damage in return. So his wraiths almost off screen right now. They're getting ready to jump into the next map, but yeah. As far as the bases go, like, you know, there's plenty of resources available. I'd like to see maybe a few battle cruisers added as well. It's like, you know, why not? You already have the resources available to you, but Jackwave getting spawned over here. Unfortunately, two of these warp prisms do end up getting triggered, but they are going to run away right now. So those warp prisms are... okay, yeah, they are gone, which means hybrids are not going to be spawning, and now that is a good sign for Han Horner to begin charging into this next Void Sliver. So he's going to get his Raven, take the Raven a little bit forward, get some vision over here. There's a carrier, and these battle cruisers are the main problem because they will start Yamatoing your army, and then you'll end up having no army very, very quickly. So again, these wraiths getting also into position. So you can see here, you can just tell from these little detector things, just going to try and focus down this Oracle, and let's take out this thing here. Again, just taking out all the little detectors, making sure nothing over here. And you see, Amon will just keep sending detectors over and over again. Oracles, Overseers, Observers, any kind of detectors over here. So Space Station reallocation getting used, takes out the Death Grip Crystal and the Void Rift. And again, another Death Grip Crystal getting focused down, and there is a battle cruiser over here that needs to die as well. Now that is all gone. The Death Grip Crystal does grab hold of this Magmine, so unfortunately this Magmine doesn't end up going down, and now battle cruisers are getting added as well. And they have the Yamato Cannon upgrade. The Yamato Cannon upgrade is really, really good for dealing good amounts of damage to the structures, and this thing is just going to completely melt. And he's not even gonna bother microing. This is pretty much GG over here. And yeah, there are quite a lot of losses over here, but that is basically what you can expect when you're trying to solo against Death Grip Crystals. But those are all the Void Slivers cleared, and that is GG.